Welcome back to Madison International Speedway for the Joe Shear Classic presented by Keen Parts and CorvetteParts.net. I am Dean Strom. He is Jim Trado.
We've been waiting a long time for this, a year to be exact, to find out who will win the next Joe Shear Classic, a race that's happened for quite a few years now, dating back to 2008 when Dan Fredrickson won the first one. Then it was a 100-lapper that they stopped to have a pit stop for the final 36 laps to be run under green. The number 36 will play out throughout the entire event today. Joe Shear ran that number for many years on his race car. Matter of fact, dating back to his origins of racing his father's car. It's been a long time since Joe Shear has raced. He passed away, but he raced here for a long time is what I'm trying to say. So many accolades, Dean, so many championships that Joe Shear was able to put in. So many racers he made better by how he prepared his car. Matt Kenseth is going to be the first guy to tell you the way Joe went about doing his business, getting that car ready, immaculate preparation, and a very fast race car that was hard to beat on these short tracks around the Midwest and all over the place. He went to Florida and won plenty of races as well.
66 career wins here at Madison International Speedway.
Got a group photo of these guys going for that trophy. That's his ASA car right there. I remember that car like it was yesterday from 1994 in the ASA Stock Car Series.
Four-track championships here at Madison International Speedway. Two-time ARTCO Challenge Series champion, 51 career ARTCO wins. The championships, 5 of them, La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway, Oktoberfest, 4-time Slinger Nationals champion. The on-track performance, the record books, the wins, the championships just speak volumes, but to know what he meant to a Matt Kenseth or to a Rich Bickle who won this event 1 year ago, Jason Schuler, the list goes on and on. He was quiet. Joe Shear was quiet, but behind the scenes, he really touched a lot of racers' lives.
And he was so good at what he did. He worked with left-hander chassis. He also worked on his own stuff in his 2-car garage. Whatever he rolled out, and for a while there, I'm telling you, in the early 90s, that was really one of the peaks of his career, starting back in the 60s and 70s in the Chicagoland area. But one of the peaks for him, the ARTCO Challenge Series for sure. But in the 90s, early 90s, I would say he and Butch Miller, late 80s, early 90s, really had their game at the highest. And if you knew one of those guys were in the pits, you knew you were running for third because they were that good. They won that many races. I remember we're going back to Kaukauna, Wisconsin International Raceway, 1988. Joe had him covered, and it was amazing to watch. And actually, Butch Miller won the race, but Joe had the car to beat, and one of the few times he had a mechanical failure. So it's just a great testament to have the Joe Shear Classic presented by Keen Parts and CorvetteParts.net back here at Madison International Speedway.
The guy who is flying the Keen Parts and CorvetteParts.net colors here today is a young racer by the name of Carson Quapple, and he is downstairs with our Kurt Keen.
Yeah, it was Matt Gibson. I saw all the cars.
Talking about Keen Parts and being a great sponsor coming on board, what's it mean to have them being the sponsor of the race and being on your race car?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They first sponsored me and my brother back in, I think might have been 2014, and they've been awesome.
We'll hear from Carson in a moment, who again lives in North Carolina. His father Travis won a track championship here in 1996 in the super late models. So there's some family history, family ties, family in the area they still stay with.
Yep.
But for Carson, it's a big deal to come back here in a car that he knows how to race, but hasn't raced a lot here in the Midwest. Last time he raced it, I believe, was at the Milwaukee Mile for the Father's Day race. We'll have again this June on MidwestTour.tv.
ARCA Midwest Tour will headline there at the Milwaukee Mile. Always one of the marquee events of the racing calendar here in southeastern Wisconsin, really in all the upper Midwest. And as you said, Jim, we will have it here on MidwestTour.tv. Cars are getting lined up on the front straightaway right now, and the crews are pushing their pit boxes down. They're going to pit on the quarter mile. Live pit stops here today.
There's an environment where they can pit and not lose position. It's called controlled cautions. That will happen naturally between laps 50 and 65 of the green flag run. The teams, however, only have 2 tires in the pits to change.
Yep.
So as those controlled cautions come about, it's not like they can keep throwing tires at it. So tire strategy, tire management on the tires they qualified with and already have run a preliminary race on. The tires they need to start the race on, and only have 2 spares in the pits, and they have emergency tires, but we'll get into that as it's needed. But that also does come at a price as well, like a lap penalty for a tire that you put on in an emergency status beyond the 2 in the pits and the 4 in the car.
Yeah, we like to say this is a 6-tire race.
Yep.
So tire management definitely is going to be one of the tall orders of the day for these teams. 200 circuits around Wisconsin's fastest half mile here at Madison International Speedway.
That'd be like a 400 lapper last weekend at Slinger Super Speedway, quarter mile, half this size.
You're doing math.
I know.
You're doing
Stop
math.
me now, because
You're
it's
doing
not a good
math
idea.
on the air.
Yeah. All right, let's go trackside for driver introductions, the way Eric Kienefeld does it. Oh, I'm sorry, we're going to Carson Quapple right now with our own Kurt Keen. Go ahead, Kurt.
Hey, we'll get back to it. It's cold out here on Carson Quaffle talking about Keen Parts. They've been with you for a long time. They're sponsoring this race, and great people that support your racing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They're starting to sponsor some races, some short track racing, and I can't thank them enough for all the support that they've given me, my family, me and my brother especially, over the past, 7-8 years, since 2014, whatever the math is on that. We've become family friends with them and partners together, and I can't thank them enough for sponsoring us and sponsoring other local short track drivers and races.
Well, we'll see if you can get that trophy here for the Joe Shear Classic. Best of luck today.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Keen Cup's getting awarded as well. It was a beautiful trophy that was awarded last Sunday, the first ARCA Midwest Tour race, the first 2 of the season. Come with a beautiful Keen Cup. It's part of
it's a biggie.
Archie St. Hilaire
It's a
handed it out
biggie.
last week. It's a beautiful trophy, and they're going after that big Keen Cup as well. It's a great way to give back to short tracks. I had a chance to talk to Tom Keen. He and his brother TJ are really behind him, and he said, blame Archie. Archie's the one really getting this. So the Keen Cup is actually a short track award. If you ask anyone, it's like, man, that's a really big deal. They chose these 2 first ARCA Midwest Tour races to award the Keen Cup. So a great testament to them and supporting not only Carson, but these racers here in Wisconsin and the Midwest Tour for these first couple.
To his inside in row number 10, driving car number 77. He's racing out of Utica, USA. The Kowicki Driver Development, Screamin' Norwegian House Contractors, Hogan Farm Chevrolet, Riley Stencham. Row 9 to the outside, and car number 25, racing out of East Troy, Wisconsin. It is the Duramax Trucking Great Lakes Component Chevrolet. It's Jeff Storm. Inside of row number 9, winner of our qualifying race today, former ARCA Midwest Tour Rookie of the Year from Plover, Wisconsin. The Wisconsin Potato and Vegetable Growers, DeKalb Seeds, Quick Trip, Rowdy Energy, Camry. It's Gabe Summers. Starting in the 16th spot, outside of row number 8, driving the 80 car from Big Bend, Wisconsin, the Thierry's Race Engines, Adams Heavy Duty Towing, Oak Creek Automotive Chevrolet, Ryan Farrell. Starting from the 15th position in car number 8, the Wabam Ultimate Cleaning Products Pathfinder Chassis Chevrolet. Welcome back to MIS, our 1994 track champion and former NASCAR Cup Series champion, Matt Kenseth. Moving up down to the 14th position, driving car number 39, looking to become the first driver ever to win 3 Joe Shear Classics. The AllTrucksUSA.com Chevrolet from DeForest, it's Andrew Morrissey. To Andrew's inside, driving car number 35, the reigning Cars Super Late Model champion. He's from Mooresville, North Carolina. The LKN Mechanical CorvetteParts.net Chevrolet, Carson Quapple. In now to the 6th row, starting in the 12th position, a car number 44 out of Gleason, Wisconsin, the Aqua Finance, Agri Industries, A&A Lock Service Ford, it's Justin Mondike. Quickest in practice, quickest in qualifying, trying to cap off one heck of a day. Starting from the 11th position on the invert. Car number 7 from Hubertus, Wisconsin, the DeAngelis Construction, JD7 Trucking Sponsored Machine, John DeAngelis Jr. Into the top 10, starting in the 10th position in car number 9 from Stratford, Wisconsin, the Shockwave Marine Suspension Seating Chevrolet, Derek Kraus. Starting in the 9th position in 119, the 2018 ARCA Midwest Tour Series champion from Verona, the Gildan Activewear First Business Bank sponsored Chevrolet, Dalton Shear. Outside row 4 from the 8th position, car 11 from Montello, Wisconsin, the Lecker Septic Systems, Hins Farms, Eagle Homes, American Family Insurance, Chevrolet, Bobby Kendall. From the 7th position, runner-up in this race last year, our winner at Slinger last Sunday, the Soda Sense Done Right Exterior sponsored Chevrolet, it's Luke Fenhouse. Starting 6th, outside the 3rd row, he is the 2008 Joe Shear Classic champion out of Lakeville, Minnesota, the Herman's Landscape Supply Just Man Freight sponsored entry driven by Dan Fredrickson. Starting in the 5th position in car 21 today, the Incredible Bank iRacing Ken Sports sponsored Toyota, it's Ty Majeski. Starting from position number 4, car number 2 out of South Beloit, Illinois, the Jim Olson Collision Crazy Times Pub and Grub sponsored number 2, it's Michael Bilderbeck. Starting in the 3rd position, driving car number 5, the 2-time ARCA Midwest Tour Series champion from Edgerton in the UAW Region 4, Hogan Farms, Valley Gasket, Reed Race Cars number 5, Casey Johnson. Front row, outside, car 14, driven by the 2018 Joe Shear Classic champion. It is the car corner, Crazy Times Pub and Grub, Haas Builders, Nason Landscaping Ford, Austin Nason. And ready to roll from the pole for the 200-lap race is the driver of 23, the 18-year-old from Merrill, Wisconsin, the Central Sawdust of Wisconsin. Bravery Music, Culver-sponsored machine driven by Levon Vandergeest. Having a nice hand for all 29 starters in the 15th Joe Shear Classic, presented by Keen Parts. All right, so drivers are going to go get strapped in, get buckled up, get ready to go for 200 laps. In the meantime, so we talked to Freddie Nielsen. That was pretty cool. And down here shaking hands and here for the festivities is a past winner of this event. And when I talk to him, I got to say first, Cruz on the infield, last chance to cross. If you're going to stay in the infield, you're there. If you got to get out of the infield, go now, Cruz. Now, They've interrupted our conversation like 3 times now. The reigning winner of last year's Joe Shear Classic. He's in the house with us today. How about a nice hand for Richie Bickle? Welcome back to MIS.
Well, you know, last year's 80 degrees.
You brought the sunshine.
Yeah, I brought the snowmobile weather.
Man, I tell you. You know, isn't it neat? You know, there was Freddie Nielsen. I know you haven't seen him for a long time. And kind of tying all in with what we talked about last year. This race means so much because there's so much of that connection from back when you got started racing.
Well, it's kind of amazing that 2 years ago somebody said I was the last guy that left to race with Joe in the field. I'm like, oh my God, I'm old. And so, funny story about Fred Nielsen, 1981. Joe actually won the race that night. Larry Degens finished second. And I claimed Joe's motor, which was Fred's motor. And Fred had some kind words for me. And he wanted to shoot me. And this is a true story. He was going to pull a gun out and he said, I'm going to shoot you. And anyway, Larry Degens sold me his motor that night. And I won my first ever feature at Lake Geneva 2 weeks later with Larry's motor in my car the night he got killed. So it's kind of ironic. I ain't seen Fred probably in 30 years. But I wish he was here last year. He won, you know, doing this tribute to Joe and have the number in the car and his name on the roof. And it was a heck of a great day, and just good to see them guys again. It's been a long time.
No doubt about that. How's retirement treating you?
This is hard to stand here, I'll tell you that.
Hey, good to see you. Enjoy the day, and I know we'll see you around throughout the year.
Well, we'll be around.
We'll be around. Rich Bickle, ladies and gentlemen, last year's Joe Shear Classic champion. Always good to see the man around the track. We'll see him around. That leaves it open, doesn't it? All right, everybody getting strapped in, ready. 200 laps. Yellow flag laps will count till the last 10 laps. Old pit stops. So when the yellow comes out, you can pit. No laps lost in the pits under caution. You lose no spots with those that you pit with, so to speak. There'll be about 4 laps in each caution period where the pace vehicle circles the track. Those will be pit laps. They won't count under yellow, but then we'll resume counting the yellow flag laps once everybody gets back on the track. If we go 50 straight laps of green flag, we will throw a competition caution somewhere in the next 15 laps, which means we won't go any longer than 65 straight laps of green flag racing. Double file restarts until the last 10 laps, then we go single file if we have a restart in the final 10 laps. Last couple drivers checking in with our starter, Tommy White, to get them going here today. So many good cars. What a quality group of cars. 30 of them were here this weekend. 29 will take the green flag. It was the case last week at Slinger. It's the case today. It'll be the case anywhere you go at the ARCA Midwest Tour this year. It is the toughest super late model field you'll find consistently in the United States. And we are all so blessed to get to see them race throughout this season and every summer. And MidwestTour.tv with the pay-per-view and the Jumbotron, as we call it, down here on the infield. We'll be able to watch replays and things of that nature as they warrant throughout this race. We have the benefit of getting to see that, just like everybody that's at home. That'll follow us to a lot of our big shows throughout the year. All right, looks like the last driver's buckled in. They'll get the thumbs up, thumbs down to Tom White. All right, it is time to get them fired up, and to get the engine started, we need your help. So clear your throat Help me out. Let's count them down from 5, 4. Let's go racing!
We hope you enjoyed the live look in on driver introductions here at Madison International Speedway. The Joe Shear Classic presented by Keen Parts and CorvetteParts.net, bringing it to you here today on MidwestTour.tv. You now met the drivers, saw what they look like. Various ages, various levels of experience. Our front row is second-year racer Levon Vandergries, and just his 11th start in the series. To his outside, the veteran, the number 14 of Austin Nason, making his 64th start, looking for his third victory and second here at Madison in the ARCA Midwest Tour. Once we get them aligned, we'll reintroduce you to them. And the biggest star for many years came back to race, but not in 3 years has it been since Matt Kenseth in this number 8 has raced at his home track, Madison International Speedway. This is a brand new race car prepared by his best buddy Joe Wood and Jason Schuler with Pathfinder chassis. He qualified 15th. He's got a lot of fans here pulling for him. His family's here. It's a great return to Wisconsin for the driver who won the NASCAR championship after cutting his teeth on tracks just like this one. Also racing for Freddie Nielsen after Joe Shear and Freddie decided to do their separate deals. The seat came open and Matt Kenseth took advantage of that and really set the tone for Matt to be looked at a national level by what he's able to do racing in Freddie Nielsen's car. Then with Jerry Gunderman's ASA National Tour car, and then Robbie Reiser came calling in 1997. So 3 years removed for Matt Kenseth winning a weekly track championship here at Madison. He was on his way to racing full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Great to see Matt back.
Great looking field indeed, Jim, here at Madison International Speedway. Going to give you a live look in for just a couple of laps. MidwestTour.tv. One final opportunity if you want to see this full duration 200 lap headliner, the Joe Shear Classic. Need to go to MidwestTour.tv right now. We're going to give you a look in here for a couple of laps. It's going to be a fantastic race.
And let us know when you switch over. If you've already subscribed, let us know when you switch over on Twitter. Use the hashtag ARCAMT, ARCAMT, ARCA Midwest Tour. ARCAMT is our Twitter that we want you, a hashtag we want you to follow along with. The 21 is Ty Majeski. First time racing that car. Different team owner than he's accustomed to, but that car's in their shop now. Nothing's changed. Nothing's changed for the preparation with he and Toby Nudelman. Dan Fredrickson, his brother David, working with him full time in that number 36. He has not raced here a lot in the Midwest Tour, but Fredrickson's a champion and he's raced here at Madison a bunch in super late model racing over the years.
Luke Fenhaus, the number 4 machine, the winner 1 week ago at Slinger Super Speedway, picking up his first career ARCA Midwest Tour win. Line up alongside the number 11 of Bobby Kendall.
And the top 11 cars on qualifying were inverted. The fast qualifier, John DeAndos, will start 11th. So the cars that were 10th to 1st and 11th to 1st in time make up those first 5 rows.
And these are just a couple of warm-up laps.
Yep. Just warming them up.
You didn't miss the green.
Nope. So they all out-qualified a lot of good race cars.
And we should mention,
last chance placement race.
If you're just getting this live look in, or if you're just joining us on MidwestTour.tv, we should mention, speaking of the invert, John DeAngelis Jr. won his first career Fast Qualifier award. Got to go down on the front straightaway as part of pre-race ceremonies, roll the big oversized die to see what that invert was going to be. And then they asked him, do you want to take the Keen Parts Challenge? $3,600 on the line extra if you start in the back and you win the event. Johnny said, thank you, but no thank you.
I want to go for the 15 grand. This race is now $15,000 to win. Lots of money on the line, and Johnny has yet to declare full-time for ARCA Midwest Tour. He said he's going to spend more time racing around the Midwest. He's been traveling south a lot lately, last couple of years, not really racing weekly around the area. Bunch of Midwest Tour races along the way. Johnny was full-time on the circuit, 43 starts to his credit. Very first fast qualifier, though. A lot of bright things happening for Johnny D.
And another one of those drivers who's a newlywed. Just got married a couple of weeks ago. Has some business ventures here in the upper Midwest. So going to focus some time on that and do some racing, like you said, Jim, a little closer to home.
Yeah, John DeAngelis, a family deal. They brought in a really good crew chief in Chris Wimmer, who holds the Super Late Model track record here. He's the crew chief this weekend, helping them with setups. Lots of focus now on these first few rows. Levon Vandergeest on the inside. Austin Nason to the outside. The scoring will happen across the top of the screen. This is the best of the Midwest, the best of the Midwest Tour. .TV coverage. Here we roll. We're coming down the backstretch without the pace truck. You know what that means? It's about to get busy on the biggest half mile, the fastest half mile in Wisconsin. This is the Madison International Speedway Joe Shear Classic, presented by Keen Parts and CorvetteParts.net. To the line, Vandergeest and Nason have control. Rolling off of turn number 4 on the high banks to the start-finish line. We're underway in the Joe Shear Classic.
Austin Nason gets a great jump on the high side. The 14 will lead him up the back straightaway, and Levon Vandergeest is under pressure from Michael Bilderback for the second spot.
Bilderback on the outside there in that black number 2. Got a good advantage there because Austin Nason got such a good run. Vandergeest opens up the inside. Whoa. That's Casey Johnson. His sponsor is Baja Boats. He's nearly Bajaing through the infield out the apron there in turn 2 momentarily.
Yeah, got down a little bit low there in turn 1 and 2. That is the preferred line. You want to hook those left side tires down real low, but Casey Johnson in that 5 machine got a little too low. And Casey has a storyline that we were following since practice this morning, Jim.
He got a chance to practice yesterday, but this morning the transmission failed in his car in the final practice right before the cars were to line up to qualify. The team went to work, borrowed some parts from nearby haulers. They replaced the transmission and the drive shaft in that number 5. Casey Johnson was able to qualify in line on time and made the top 16, and here he is racing in the top 5 in the Joe Shear Classic in that number 5 with all those parts new to the car since that transmission failure in practice later from late this morning.
And Casey Johnson sticking his nose underneath the Minnesota driver, Dan Fredrickson. That is for the 4th position. Ty Majeski in that 21. Yes, I said 21. Ty Majeski lurking behind Casey Johnson.
That iRacing logo on the hood for Incredible Bank on the quarter panel. That's the team owner, Todd Nagel of Incredible Bank. As Majeski looks inside, Ty's been pretty much a bottom feeder, but the risk there going to turn 1, it's a lot sharper corner when you're that low on the racetrack, and Ty made it work to hold position over Luke Fenhaus and that black, blue, and silver number 4 for Fenhaus, leading the number 119 of Dalton Zier. This is a great battle now for 6th on back.
Field gets single file, but they are nose to tail indeed. There is Dalton Zier, a 3rd place run in this event 1 year ago. Dalton Zier had a great qualifying effort. He told me this morning, I'm not a very good qualifier. If I happen to get a good qualifying run, that means I got a really good car. Look out, when we get a long green flag run, I feel really, really confident. Dalton Zier in that 119 First Business Bank Gildan entry all over the inside of Luke Fenhaus.
He timed in 3rd quick, so he had to start back there in the field with the 11 car in, where he started inside row number 5 and making his way forward. Now Luke Fenhaus has started inside the row ahead in 4th.
Fredrickson really loose in that number 36 machine. Majeski gets by. Fredrickson just kind of hanging on. Started this race outside row number 3. Dalton Zier now to the inside of Fredrickson. We talked about Fredrickson having a handful. That black number 36, the Lakeville, Minnesota native. Fredrickson, a winner of this Joe Shear Classic. In fact, the inaugural Joe Shear Classic back in 2008. And he is dropping back now in the 7th position. Luke Fenhaus looks to be the next one to move underneath Fredrickson. Meanwhile, up front, it's still Austin Nason with Michael Bilderback in tow.
We are going to step away from our live look-in coverage. Thank you for joining us. We hope we got you interested in joining us for the rest of this race and the MidwestTour.tv package available. Subscribe now at MidwestTour.tv. Our live look-in is about to fade to black here at Madison International Speedway.